Hey everyone, I'm Sam.
And I'm Alex.
And I'm here with my wife.
I'm Alex.
You're listening to
the Honey I'm Home podcast
on Disney Channel.
Welcome to part 2 of our episodes on our story.
Our story, yes. Real quick, couple announcements. Tour dates are still available. And we're still looking for a social media manager. So if you want to book us for your special family reunion
your
events,
bar mitzvah,
Easter,
Kwanzaa,
Christmas,
Independence Day.
Ooh.
The U.S.'s or Honduras's.
Oh, come on. President's Day?
Mm-hmm.
Let us know. And you can DM our Instagram, which it's just the Honey I'm Home podcast on Instagram. And our social media manager will get in touch with you. Mm-hmm. And if you want to be our social media manager,
get in touch with us.
Get in touch with us.
Via our social media.
Yourself.
Oh, no.
Wait. Hold on.
We're in a loop.
Anyways, what happened last week?
So
last week? No, this past. It was
years ago.
On Monday.
On Monday. So to summarize where we left off our previous episode by talking about how I told Sam that I was interested in him. He had a lot of stuff going on, so he needed a couple days to process. So we circled back 2 days later and had a conversation. This, for everybody's reference point, is March of 2022.
Marzo, if you want to know it, how to say it in El Español.
Mm-hmm. Marzo. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Of 2022.
It's not orzo. That's the pasta. It's Marzo.
Yes, Marzo. So we meet up Wednesday. Sam, you wanted to tell your version of
I wanted to tell
first.
my side of the story first.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because I get... That was good.
Thank you.
Porque is because... Porque I get a lot of... what's the word?
You get a lot of heat for it.
Heat for it, yeah. People hate me for it.
Nobody hates you for it.
I'm public enemy number 1 because of this. And I'm fine with it. It's okay. I stand by what I said. I would do it again. So that's that.
Okay, well, why don't you tell us what happened?
What am I telling?
Our Wednesday conversation.
So on Wednesday, today, a couple years ago and a few months later, today in March of, hold up, on a Wednesday afternoon. Morning. On a Wednesday morning. On 2022.
Oh my gosh, Sam.
Okay, I'll stop. Anyway, so I told you guys how that week it was
crazy.
It was crazy. A lot happened in my hallway. My RA partner and I were dealing with a lot of things. And then I had this conversation that was very pressing with this other person, and that was on a Tuesday evening. And the conversation went long. It was hard. It was rough to have, and I didn't like how it ended, and I didn't like how everything happened. But I thought it was the best thing to do for her, for myself, because I wasn't in a good spot. And then next day, I'm talking to Alex and pretty much giving her the same conversation, saying, "Hey, I'm not dating right now." And you can wait.
I didn't even open my mouth.
Girl, you thought about it, and I can hear it. I can hear your thoughts right now. So on Wednesday, I have to tell Alex, listen, you are great. I think you have a lot of great qualities that I look for in a future spouse and someone I want to be with. And I really respect you, and I'm pretty sure I said I respect the conversation you had with me, how you brought up your feelings for me and everything.
Yeah.
Did I say I have feelings for you as well?
Yes. You said at one point that you had feelings.
Yeah, and somewhere in there I said I have feelings for you too, or I have had feelings for you too. I want you to know how the conversation I had with this other person went last night, and I told you how it went. I explained to you This is what I said. This is why I said it. And then I said, and it applies for this too. Like, I didn't feel like I was in a good spot to be dating someone, especially after that conversation I had previously. And that I didn't really want us to date yet. That's what I said. Yet. And so, okay, hear me out. This is where I get all the heat, because it's like, how could you say, Alex, how good she is for you and how great she is and blah, 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 and not date her? It's like, okay, listen. I was going through a lot already. That week was HE double hockey sticks for me already. And then I had to have a tough conversation, and then I'm not the victim. I'm not saying I'm the victim.
No,
but
you're certainly not.
But if there was a victim to this story, like, how could you not give it to me? So, hold on. So, I had tough conversations, and then I was already going through a lot. There was a lot in my head. I'm telling this other person, hey, I'm not ready to date. The next day, I enter a relationship? No, that is awful. That's disrespectful.
Disrespectful.
Was I ready to be in a relationship? No, not either. I wasn't. I wanted us to at least date, get to know each other, get to like have conversations that we were like, this is what we're looking for in a relationship. This is what we want if we were dating, which eventually we did, but that could not happen.
Don't give them the spoilers.
Okay, well, it's called the Honey I'm Home podcast. So I couldn't really just say no and then enter in another relationship right after.
Yeah.
Because, one, I felt like it would be disrespectful to both parties involved. And it would also it would also speak very poorly on me to just, flip-flop around. Is that a word?
Yeah.
Is that the right word? Like, just be wishy-washy with my words and my decisions. So I said, hey, no, like, I'm not in a good spot right now. I need to like think things through, like you said, and that is true. I am a very internal processor. I really have to sit through things, which you knew this already, but I really need to sit through things. In my head, honestly, I knew, okay, Alex would be a good person to date. I know things would work well with us, but that doesn't mean that I currently, personally, I'm in a good spot to honor her and respect her in a relationship the way she deserves. If I'm like going from like dates with one person, saying no, and then immediately into like, okay, Alex, yeah, I'm free now, I'm single, let's just go. It's like, that's just awful. I think that's very poor character. And I didn't want that to be my story and how I was known. So again, you might hate me, and that's fine.
I don't think anybody hates you.
I think I'm getting a lot of text right now, and people are pissed at me.
I will say, originally after that conversation, I was a little upset with him.
Yes,
because
you were.
But we like ended on good terms. Like, we were like, we're still gonna be friends. We're not gonna be awkward about this. Like, we're grown ups.
That weekend, Easter?
Yes, that weekend
I was invited for Easter to her place.
To my family's
with a lot of other people, like her family, other family friends.
Right.
And I said,
yeah,
hey, I know after a conversation with you, you'll get to tell your part of the story of this conversation. But after the whole conversation, I said, hey, I know that this weekend is Easter weekend and I'm supposed to go with you guys, and I don't want things to be awkward between us or anything. Yeah. And I know this conversation is tough, but I'm like happy to not go. And
if needed.
Yeah, I'm happy, which I honestly should have stayed back.
No.
Thinking back on it.
No.
I feel like
I'm glad you didn't.
Well, yeah, but I still think I should have. But still, I thought, well, there were two thoughts. If I go and it's not awkward, then great. We are both mature. If I go and it is awkward, well, this sucks. She's my right back. but also, then I know like something needs to change. Yeah. So it was a good like trial to like see, okay, can we actually be mature about this whole situation? Yeah. But also, I did say and I did offer, if you feel like it will be awkward and I shouldn't go, like with you guys to Easter, like let me know, and like I'm happy to stay back. And
I think it would have been
mind.
more awkward had you not gone.
I don't know about that, but
I think it would have been awkward when we got back. Yeah, from my perspective, I was like, okay, I understand what he's saying. However, I'm getting the line that every Christian woman dreads to get, which is you're everything I'm looking for in a spouse.
Okay.
So it's not you, it's me. I just think it's not the right timing for me to date. And I was like, the heck?
Okay, but I came through.
Yeah, so this was the week before Easter. And I was like, okay, I understand. Like, I want to be respectful. Like, thank you for giving me the clarity I needed. And honestly, I told Sam that I was interested in him, and I had maybe like a 10% like hope that we would end up dating. But mainly I was thinking we would just get some clarity, and then things wouldn't be awkward, and I would have been able to be proud of myself for pushing myself out of my comfort zone to have that conversation. But I really didn't think that we were going to date. So I was like disappointed and sad, but I also wasn't shocked. So then we have Easter week, and then we come back from Easter weekend. We come back from Easter weekend, and my youngest sister had come up to Lynchburg that week and stayed with me. And Sam that week was still just being Sam, and he was being so nice and so kind, and like I had a lot going on at work, and I was feeling bad because I felt like I couldn't spend as much time with my little sister as I wanted to. And Sam was like, how can I help? Like, I can take her bowling while you're working, or I can go take her to go do this, or like I can help hang out with her, or I can drive her to these places while you're working. Because I was like, I don't want her just sitting around, like I feel bad. And I was like, dadgummit, this guy just said he didn't want to date me, and now he's still being so nice. Like, I'm gonna have to talk to him again because he's still being nice.
Her little sister, which, like, I also wanted to hang out with her because she's really cool.
Yeah.
And I really like her.
Yeah.
And, like, we get along well. So I also wanted to hang out with her.
Yes, you did.
It was not just like,
no, it wasn't.
Ooh, Alex likes me. I'm gonna be nice to her. Like, it was more like, and I don't want anyone else. Just the thing. I didn't want anyone else to think. Yeah, it's just my character.
It's just
guys.
his character.
I'm
He
just
like
awesome.
sees people needing help. No, let me. Sam.
I'm
Sam likes words of affirmation until they actually happen. But Sam, that's just his character. So he sees somebody in need, and he jumps in.
But I wanted to hang out with
how they need, and also. He really cared. He was one of my only friends who, like, really cared to get to know Ashlyn, my youngest sister, when she was here. And, like, my other friends were, like, kind when they were around her. But Sam, like, went out of his way to, like, get to know her and ask her questions and hang out with her. And which I was like, this is wonderful. But this is not wonderful because I like you. So it's still really confusing for my little heart. And so I was like, I gotta talk to him again. And so my sister leaves the following Sunday. And Sam and I once again go to the drive-through coffee shop, drive there, and we're on the way back, and Sam says, hey, do you have the bandwidth to talk about something?
That one was on purpose. I was like, I need a little bit of payback. So
I was like,
hey,
sure.
Can I talk to you about something? Do you have the bandwidth to talk about something if I drop it off on you?
And I thought he was going to say something like, I've been paying attention this week, and you're right, like, we need to change our friendship, or like I think we should. I thought he was like cutting off our friendship. Like I thought he was gonna be like, I don't think we should be friends anymore. And then he says, so
okay, what?
he said I've been thinking about it, and I've like given it a lot of thought and prayer, and actually I think that we should talk.
Okay, did
yeah, I know. He said I think we should have a conversation about us dating because I actually do have feelings for you and I really respect you and blah 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 blah. And he was like, I think we should have a conversation about us dating.
Yeah. So this was what, like almost 2 weeks after our conversation?
Yeah.
Yeah, this was almost 2 weeks after we had a conversation.
Yeah.
And then we both agreed, yeah, we should talk. And
then we went out.
Go on our first date?
We went
a couple days after?
Yeah, we went on our first date a couple days after. Mm-hmm. And we were like, we're going to wait until the school semester ends. It's because it's really busy, and like we'll wait until the school semester ends.
Which we were almost done with.
It was mid-April. And then we went out on like 4 dates in 4 days or something like that.
We went on like, it was like 2 official, like we're calling this a date.
Yeah.
But we like still hung out normally.
Yeah.
Because like again,
'Cause we
our
were
friend
really
group was
good
so
friends.
close, and we
Yeah.
were really good friends. We would still see each other regularly,
Yeah.
and things were not awkward.
Things were
ever.
not weird. Yeah.
At least from
all.
my end.
No, they weren't weird at all.
Yeah,
And
so,
none of
like-
our friends ever felt awkward either.
Yes. So like that was like my indicative of like, wow, like things like it could really work out. Like we had this that would seem a very hard, tough conversation to have,
Yeah.
and like
And it was.
it could easily be like a like dramatic, like, oh my gosh, he told me he doesn't like me that way.
Yeah.
But it really wasn't.
No.
But like you could easily take it that way and it would be fair, but still we were very mature about it, and
Yeah.
we were very like, okay, this is what we should do, and we did it. And then we went on as, okay, we should do this now, and we did it. And it all like fit in perfectly, like puzzle pieces.
Yeah.
And then we said, okay, let's go on a date. Because then we were like, okay,
it
how would it be if we were like, okay, now we're hanging out like usual,
Yeah.
but like
now we know we like each
intentionally,
other.
yeah, like I like you, you like me.
Yeah.
Let's go and like actually like get coffee and talk
Yeah.
more about dating.
Yeah.
And I remember we went to
We went to a coffee shop and a bookstore.
Yeah, we went to a bookstore and literally just walked around looking at books. Like that was our little like, we're just
Like
spending time with each
casual
other.
first date.
Yeah, we're just spending time with each other, like no one else, not caring about anything else, just being fun, looking at books.
Yeah.
We read a couple of books, I remember. And then we went to a coffee shop and then sat down and had coffee together
Yeah.
and talked more about dating. And then we went to, it was downtown, so we went to a parking lot and then just talked.
Yeah.
And then you had
with
a phone
like an
call
overview.
with one of your
We
friends.
looked at like an overview of the river downtown. And yeah, we talked for like 5 hours, I think. Our first date was like 4.5 or 5 hours.
Really? Mm-hmm. Oh, wow.
Yeah. And
We
It
talked a
felt
lot
like
about what we wanted to.
minute. Like
Yeah.
it felt so quick and so short. And
Because all our conversations was, what do we want? What are our goals? What
yeah.
do we look for in someone else?
Yeah. And we were just spending time together. And
Yeah.
like I think the fact that it was out in the air that we both had feelings for each other made it that we could like hang out
Simple
one on one,
conversations.
and it wasn't anymore like, oh, I need to
wasn't
be
awkward,
careful.
yeah.
Like it was because it was already out in the air, and we both already knew what we wanted. And like Sam and I have both dated before, and we both had a pretty developed like theology and plan for what we wanted dating to look like, what we believed the purpose of dating was, and like what we wanted in a marriage and in a spouse. So it was kind of just like, well, this is what I want. Great. I want the same thing. Well, this is what I want. Great. I want the same thing. And
Yeah.
it was like everything fell into place.
Our worldview, our
Yeah.
biblical worldview, like our biblical like roles as well, and like
And we knew
not
each
even
other
like roles
so
as like
well.
in marriage, but roles as on like, what does a guy do in leadership? What does a woman do in support? And like more like in the dating realm and like in the dating
Yeah.
version of roles.
Yeah.
We like align in that so well. And so then the other ones were like, oh, we're just hanging out still. But like,
Yeah.
this is also a date because like now we're
'Cause
like,
we're
still
together.
we're now hanging out one-on-one again.
Yeah.
But like that time was like our first date. We're gonna hang out one-on-one again. But like, yeah, sure, it's a date. But like, we're still just talking more and more.
Yeah.
And like getting to know each other more and more. And like, hey,
Yeah.
would you date me? Would I date you?
Yeah.
And
So, like 2 weeks after our first date, Sam asked me to be his girlfriend officially.
I did ask,
You
which I
did.
think it should be more often.
Yeah. No, I agree. It wasn't just like
Wait, no, not that I should ask you
now
more
we're
often,
dating.
but
No,
more
no,
like,
it wasn't like we
guys
rolled
should do that
into it and
more
it was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure we're dating because we've been going out for 3 months. Like,
No.
you were very clear on like, I would like to go out on some dates, or I would like to take you on a date, versus you were very clear of like, would you please be my girlfriend? Like, you were very clear on when.
I didn't say please.
Well, like, not like, please, not like that. Please date me. No, but you were very clear on when we transitioned from
Yeah.
we're going on dates to we're boyfriend and
Yes, we
girlfriend.
had a
Like, you
clear
left no
transition.
question in my mind, which
Correct.
I really appreciated.
Yes.
And
Not begging on you.
I will say that I knew on our first date that I loved Sam and that I knew I was going to marry him. I knew on the first date. And I have journal entries from getting back from my first date. And
That's so wild.
I literally wrote down, I'm pretty sure Sam's the man I'm going to marry.
That is literally so wild.
Mm-hmm. It's like I had my eye on you for like 6 months.
You did.
Like I had been watching you and like looking at your character, looking at your integrity. So then once it was like, okay, we have like a little bit of chemistry too. I was like, yeah, no, I know.
I couldn't tell you when I knew. I don't know.
Really? Sam's like, I still don't know.
Okay,
I'm kidding.
wow.
I'm kidding.
No,
that would be so bad.
Messed up.
That was a joke. Everybody, be calm.
I knew I loved you. I don't think I could pinpoint it specifically because I'm not really a good journaler. Mm-hmm. So I don't think
It's an internal processor. You don't even need the journal.
Exactly. Like everything's just, I just
think
knew.
it all.
It's more of like moments rather than specific time. Well,
yeah.
Okay, hold on. It's more of like a season rather than a specific moment.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So I think it was when because we started dating, then it was the summer. It was when I moved off campus after the first summer that we dated that I knew I loved you. And I think it was just the attention that not the attention you gave me, the
support,
care. Yeah. I'm sorry, attention in Spanish in this context was different.
No,
but yeah, the support that you gave me when I moved off campus, mostly because that's when like things got really rough with me personally, for different reasons. But like you were just so like faithfully there to be with me and to just endure hard times that I was going through with me, and like just the simple like you would go to the apartment and sit down and watch a movie with me or sit down and talk with me was like really helpful. But like I knew that like it was a big sacrifice sometimes for you to like drive off campus and spend time with me or like help me out in different ways, that like helping me go get groceries or making meals or stuff.
Sam's least favorite thing in the world is going to the grocery store.
I hate grocery shopping.
He really hates grocery shopping.
It's so annoying.
I love grocery shopping, so we work really well.
Yes. So things like that I was like, wow, she like takes really good care of me when like I don't really need it, but it's really nice that to have someone that cares for you that well.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what I knew, probably.
Yeah. And I felt the same way. Like Sam's just a really good listener, and like he's very steady and like I use the word stable, but I don't mean like he's not crazy, but I mean like he's stable? Just no, just like he's very like predictable, and when he says something he means it. Like it's not, there's no like guessing game, there's no like, oh, is there a hidden meaning I have to decipher? Like he's
face
just
value. Yeah,
he's very face value, but there's like the honesty in that just felt so safe to me that I would like be able to share my feelings and he would be able to give me his thoughts, and it was like, oh, that's genuinely what he thinks about my feelings. Like he's not sitting there in the back of his mind thinking like, dang, this girl be crazy. Like no, if he had thought that, he would have said it. Like he's validating my feelings because that's actually how he feels. And I think that like safety and honesty was something that I like. Again, I didn't need it. Like I wasn't like, oh my gosh, I need Sam. But like it just was so like precious and healing and supportive to me. And I think we like found that in each other early because we walked through some tough stuff together. But we didn't say I love you till 6 months in.
Yeah.
And Sam said I love you in, I think, I argue, the most romantic way that anybody could ever say I love you for the first time. Sam wrote me a letter followed by a poem. Well first
you should preface why we didn't say I love you.
We didn't say I love you because I said that I didn't want to jump in too fast.
Okay.
My own internal monologue is,
You go.
I go on my first date with Sam. We're not even boyfriend and girlfriend, and I'm thinking, I'm going to marry this man. And then I'm thinking...
she has the audacity to tell me, I don't want to move too fast. Like, I don't want to say I love you. Like, I don't want to blah, 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 too fast, too soon.
Because my emotions aren't going fast. They're going like an F1 racer.
Like, a couple of days into us being boyfriend, girlfriend. There's probably, like, more than a week.
Yeah, it was
She's,
quick.
like, sits me down. She's like, hey, I want you to know, like, couple things, blah blah blah, my previous relationships and blah blah blah, blah. Like I don't want us to go too fast. Like like emotionally, I need to like give myself time and like pace myself emotionally because I don't want to like catch feelings too quickly. And I'm like, so I'm like,
You're like, crud.
I'm a very direct person, very face value things. So I'm like trying to figure out what the heck
What that means.
does this mean? Because all I'm seeing is a bunch of trail tracks not going anywhere and going in circles, but also like wanting to go one direction, but like also like not going anywhere. So I'm so confused. And then later on, I come to find out she's like, I knew I loved you from the day one.
Yeah, I did.
Like, what?
But I was like, I know that if we're just like jumping in, and I take the words I love you very seriously. We both do. I had never said I love you in any of my previous relationships. Like, Sam was the first person I said that to.
Yeah.
And so I was like, if we're like throwing out I love yous and we're like talking about our future and like you're telling me how I'm going to be a good wife, like I'm just emotionally going to get all ahead of myself and then it's just going to be really challenging. So I had said, let's keep it slow. So anyway, Sam wrote a letter to me and wrote a poem and sketched a sketch of the mountains. And at the end of the poem, it said, I love you. And I cried and hugged him and said, I love you back. And that was our first I love yous, which I think is really sweet.
Man, she doesn't want me to like just say it. So I was like, what's the like most gentle way to deliver I love you?
It was so cute. I will cherish that little letter forever. It was so cute. If I could frame it, I would, but it's just for me.
And then after that, what happened? Well, after that, I moved.
You moved to Charlotte.
And I was staying with some family friends there in Charlotte. And you stayed here, like 3 hours away, which then
in Virginia.
We had to do
long distance,
which
sucked.
Also, by that time, we were already like, before I moved to Charlotte, which was during the Christmas season, we were both already talking about marriage. And like we wanted to get married soon.
Yeah.
And then me moving to Charlotte kind of like threw a wrench in our plans.
Yeah.
And just time wise, it like a lot of things had to move up and happen quicker than usual.
There was so much that had to slow down and so much that had to speed up.
Yeah.
And it just felt really wonky for a little bit. But we like knew, we were like, whatever it takes, we know that we are going to get married. Like we're seeing this through to the end.
Yeah. And it was probably our hardest season.
Yeah.
So far.
For sure.
And I think it was just being long distance.
Yeah.
And trying to figure out so many things.
And we were both going through a ton personally.
Time, in the like relationship side, like trying to figure out all those things out together while being far apart was really tough. And then like I don't know, like spiritual warfare or like multiple things played in that just made that season pretty tough.
Yeah.
But still we had like really good friends and support that saw it through.
We did, yeah.
And we were just very committed to each other. And we, with a lot of help from our families and our friends and our community, we were able to have our wedding. And
well, we got engaged. I think it's an important thing about us is that we had a 3-month engagement.
Yes.
So we dated for 11 months before we got engaged. Just shy of 11 months, a couple days short. And then we got married in 3 months after our engagement, which I think is a pretty rare thing.
Yeah.
For couples to get engaged and married that quickly. But we were like, just with timing and work and family schedules and like literally 100 factors, we were like, it's either we get married now or we wait an additional like long time. So
yeah, for very specific reasons, it was either it's either this summer or in 2 or 3 years.
Yeah. So we got married in June. We got engaged in March, and then we planned our wedding. I got in a car accident, and my car was totaled. I had to buy a new car, and moved you from Charlotte to Virginia in 3 months.
In 3 months.
And it was super chaotic. It was still, I still think it was there were like pockets of really sweet moments, like getting to plan. Sam was not the stereotypical groom that was like just tell me where to stand. I don't care where it is. Like,
no, I wanted to help
he
as
wanted,
much as possible.
like, it was our wedding. Like, I was not the one who was sitting there thinking, like, well, I'm the bride. This is my day. Like, you just need to do everything the way I want. Like, we were like, this is our wedding. It's our marriage. And so we wanted Sam to have just as much. I wanted Sam, and I know you did, but I wanted you to have just as much influence in the day as I did. And so we, like, picked colors together. We picked the venue together. We picked the food together. We picked the cake together. Like, we picked everything together. I did some more of the, like, hands-on stuff of, like, making the bouquets or, like, things like that. But as far as, like, the plan and, like, the visual and, like, the aesthetic, like, that was all done together. And those were really sweet moments in the midst of a really chaotic and, like, challenging 3 months.
We had multiple silver linings that made it all. Obviously now we're married, but, like, it all felt like it was worth it with how it was. Like, it wasn't the end of the world, but it was definitely tough.
It was tough.
And it was tough to not be able to be together and face all the hardships as one. But now that we're married, it's like, well, anything that comes our way, it's like we're one. So like, I don't have to deal with things on my own now. I have Alex, and she doesn't have to deal with things on her own now. She has me. So like, that's the best part of it all at the end of the day. But it was quite a run. And we skipped a lot from our engagement, so much. Mostly because we weren't together. So most of the things I know happen with Alex is like because she called me, or things that she knows happen with me is because I called her. So there's not really much story to be told in those. In those
that was just a
long distance.
Get it done.
It was more a moment of like we gotta figure these things and move it along. But like that's
and then we got married
story,
in June, and then here we are, 8 months later, trucking along.
That's us. So if you've
stuck with us,
this is episode 3.
This is episode 3, and you've been
with
us
we were gonna be here this
a full story of ourselves. Honestly, that was like a little therapeutic for me to like recount it all in one fell swoop.
Well, that's the whole point of the podcast.
Felt like a little cathartic.
That's the point for
and now we won't forget any of those details, which is, I think, good.
Well, see, the good thing is now when, like, however many it is or whoever it is, kids are like, how do you guys meet? I'll be like, just go listen to the podcast, kid. Like, go
I don't want
do
to
your homework and then listen to your podcast.
That's so funny. Now, anytime someone asks us, so how'd you guys meet? We just text them our podcast. No. Okay,
That's not happening.
To close, Sam.
Yes.
From all of our dating and from all of our engagement and I guess you can say marriage so far, what was one of the key things that you learned about yourself, and what was one of the key things you learned about the Lord through that whole process?
My gosh. Can this be episode 4?
No. Just make it brief.
Okay, this one's gonna go long then. We're gonna extend this. You've been warned. We're already past 30, so.
Yeah. It's okay.
What was the question?
Through our relationship. Dating, engaged, married. What is like a key thing you learned about yourself and a key thing you learned about the Lord?
I think with all I think a lot of the personal stuff that I went through plays into our relationship. And because of that, I think I want to mix it in. I think for the Lord is his steadfastness. I think through the seasons I went in, and primarily like our long distance season, where I think it was personally a hard season for me, with just where I found myself in life and what I needed from God, and thought I was owed by God, but wasn't really. I think I just learned God was, or saw in a deeper picture, God's steadfastness. Um, no matter what I do, no matter what I try to do, like, God remains. And he still was, and he still is. And even through our marriage, I genuinely believe like he saw it through for us. Like God really has us where he's wanted us.
Yeah.
And I think our lives speak highly of that. And I think because of that, it's just seeing how, when you put your plans, as crazy as they might seem, into God's hands, and you pray and pray that those plans end up aligning with his plans, and you have that beautiful moment of seeing like, wow, it did align, like this is what God wanted us for us.
Yeah.
And us saying like, hey God, we would like to get married, and we'd like to get married this time around, but also like for me, it's like, hey God, I would like to be like free of these doubts, and not with you or our marriage, but more like just about myself, about where he had me, where
like the season he had you in.
Yeah, that season of like just not feeling good enough, or feeling kind of like he had turned his back on me but hadn't. Just wanting to see all those go away, all those feelings go away, being understood, being known, being seen by him. And into our marriage, I think I learned a lot about him in that, and I learned a lot that God being quiet is not a no, and God being quiet is not a I've forgotten about you or I've left you.
That's good.
And the psalm says like, there's no sea deep enough that I could go and be outside of your love's reach.
Yeah.
And I knew that, but I didn't understand it until
you hadn't experienced it.
I was put in a point where I was far from what I thought God wanted me, and realized that I was right where he wanted me. And I think about myself, what I learned was probably the same. I think, well, you said that, and that's something I try to be. I always want my yes to be yes and my no to be no. I want to make sure, like, if I say I'll do something, I do it. I won't do something, I do it. And I want to make sure, first of all, I'm honoring God through that. But I think primarily what I saw was, I said, well, this is out of my control, and I'm just going to trust God. And the act of trusting God, it's so humbling sometimes. It should be all the times, but like I'm just saying, it was so humbling to feel that trusting God was not just like, it was not really saying I'm gonna sit on this chair and hope it holds my weight.
Yeah.
But trusting God was really like more of fully letting go.
Yeah.
And saying like, I don't even see a chair to sit on, but I'm just gonna go ahead and sit down.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it felt in that season, to trust God, and having a faith in him, that he put me in a position where it was just like, there's nothing Sam can do. It's all in my hands, and me saying, okay, since it's all in your hands, I'm not going to resist anything. So I think that'll be my answer. Sorry I went long.
Yeah. No, that's okay. Thank you for sharing.
Do you have a shorter answer, or should we leave it for the next podcast?
No, I could be shorter.
Episode?
I think for me, I didn't really fully think through my answer.
Also, you don't have to. Honestly, this is our podcast. We don't have to be 30 minutes.
No, we don't have to. For me, I didn't really think through my answer, so I was just asking and listening.
I can like give you some time. I can like talk about something else.
No, it's okay. I'm an external processor, so
gosh.
I can just
Here
rock and roll. I think for me, what I learned about myself was like two sides of the same coin. I learned kind of similarly to you that I was very prideful and like thought that things should go a certain way, of like, oh, well, we've been obedient, like I've tried to honor God, so like things should go good for me, which is just like not good at all. Like, that's just a prideful place to be. And on the flip side of that, I think I also learned that, like, I was stronger than I thought I was. And I think, like, while simultaneously being humbled by the Lord of, like, I need to let go of my plans and my desires and my, like, postcard of how I think this should go, I also learned, like, man, like, I can go through hard stuff and I can be okay. And, like, we can go through hard stuff and be okay. And I think that gave me, like, a confidence going into marriage that, like, I'm sure we have harder things ahead of us. And I'm sure there will be hard seasons in our marriage and hard seasons in our lives. And, like, only the Lord knows what that'll look like. But I've seen us be able to, like, navigate through that together. And it's like, wow, okay, like, we made it through that. Like, we're stronger than I thought we were. I'm stronger than I thought I was. And, like, that I can withstand pain, and it doesn't have to be bad. Like, just because it's hard doesn't mean it's bad. It can just be hard, and that can be that. But I can make it through hard. And so I think I learned that about myself, and, like, tying that into what I learned about the Lord, I learned so much that, like, the Lord's timeline is not mine, and, like, how when the Lord tells us to be patient, that's not like a punishment, or it's not like a, oh, well, if you can just be patient for this long, then I'll give you everything you want. And, like it makes me think of, like, the Instagram reels or, like, the TikToks that are, like, the mom, like, leaves a snack treat for her, like, toddlers, and she's like, okay, but you can't eat this marshmallow until I come back in the room. And then she leaves, and the kids just, like, sit there, and then she goes next, like, you can eat the marshmallow. See, I think that's how I viewed patience.
I've seen the exact same videos, but it's with a dog.
That's so funny.
And it's so cute.
That's so funny.
Because nothing in the dog understands.
No, they just
not do it,
just
or that if they don't do it, there's something better out there.
That's so funny. Yeah. So I think that's how I viewed, like, when God not asks, but, like, when our situations mandate that we can either be miserable or we can be patient. It was like, oh, well, if I just am patient for this long, then God will give me everything I deserve. And that's just not, that's just straight up wrong. Like, that's prosperity gospel. Like, that's not real. And, like, yes, God will bless those who are obedient, but, like, I don't determine what that blessing is. God determines what that blessing is. Right. And I think when we started to hit some challenges, I was like, man, like, how long do I have to be patient for? Because especially with me having liked you for so long and then knowing right off the bat, yes, I want to get married to this guy, every time that I felt like the timeline was getting pushed back, I was like, this is ridiculous. I've already been so patient. I've prayed for a husband for years. I've waited so long to be with Sam. Like, we've taken our dating slow. Like, we've been faithful. Like, I should have him by now. And that's just, like, not it at all. But, like, learning that, like, God, the things that God walked us through, although I would not want to do them again, I'm so grateful that we went through that together, because I think it just gives so much confidence that, like, yeah, we're gonna be fine. Like, yeah, we made it through, but also that, like, the Lord knew exactly what he was doing, and he was not deaf to my complaints or to my prayers or to my tears. Like, he was not deaf to those. He just had something so much greater that cost, and it had pain associated with it, but it was still so much greater and so much better for us. Which, like you said, was something that I, like, knew, but until I experienced the, like, I was very begrudging and like, well, fine, God, if you ask me to be patient, I guess I'll just run it out and be patient. But then, like, the blessing that came from that, and, like, the reward was so much sweeter, I think was, yeah, just learning that he's trustworthy. And when he says he's trustworthy, he's trustworthy. So. Yeah. Yeah. I kind of just took what you said and said it in a different way, but.
Thank you for sharing.
And I was brief. I was quicker than you were. I don't know.
Anyways.
Well,
thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for sticking it out.
Now go do your homework. And make sure you eat all your vegetables. And we can go for a Happy Meal when you're done with homework.
Wait, can we go get... Oh.
I
thought you were talking to me.
Yeah, we're gonna go get a Happy Meal.
Yes.
Anyways,
Alrighty.
thank you guys for listening. If you want to book us, let us know. And if you want to work for us, let us know. And we can pay in blocks. Well, stay tuned for the next show next week.
Where we'll talk about...
No, I don't know. Don't do that. Don't leave them hanging.
Well, we don't know what we'll talk about.
Yeah, we don't know. We usually just do impromptu things. We'll have something more prepared. I think by next week we're going to start. Just stay tuned to our what's the thing?
Our
Instagram.
Yeah,
because we'll just start
Q&As.
doing more Q&As. Maybe.
You
don't
guys
know.
can suggest topics you want to hear us talk about.
We're not accepting what's it called? Applications for guest speakers just yet. Because we don't have a social media manager yet. So once we have one of those and they are willing to work for free, then you can send your application to them and then we can talk about like how much it would be for you to be a guest in our show. Because we need microphones.
It would be 3 chocolate chips.
No, we need microphones. I'm kidding. Anyways, have a great
We appreciate you for
day,
listening.
night, wherever you are, whatever you're doing.
We appreciate you. And we
Be
appreciate
good.
your feedback.
And be good to everyone else you're around.
Tell us what you think.
And love people and love yourself. So I'm still finding my outro like
You really are. You're testing a
cool.
lot.
I'm trying everything out.
We appreciate you.
Be good and do good.
That could be a Nike shirt.
All right, just do it, everyone. Nah, we're gonna get canceled because of that.
Yeah.
Not canceled. What's the word? Sued. Sewed?
Sued.
Sued. We're gonna get sewed. Goodbye, everyone.
Peace out.